Welcome again to a candidates forum sponsored by the League of Women Voters of Northwest Wayne County. The third part of our forum tonight features the two candidates running for the Canton Township Treasurer. Each candidate is allowed a 1-minute opening statement, a 1-minute response to questions, and 1 minute for a closing statement. Let's begin with Ms. McLaughlin. If you could introduce yourself and give us your opening statement.
Thank you. Good evening, and thank you to the League for providing this candidate forum tonight, and to all of you who gave up your Monday night to come listen to politicians prattle along with all their promises to perfect your world. Thank you. I'm Melissa McLaughlin, Canton Treasurer, and I'm running for re-election. I have an extensive resume of the work I've done in Canton for the past 24 years. I serve on the Planning Commission, the Historic District Commission, the Board of Trustees. I am chair of the Canton DDA, and I run the Treasurer's Office in the Water Building Department. I've initiated many things in the 8 years I've been treasurer, some of which are the vacant house listings, rental inspections, reducing late fees on water bills. I worked with the State Representative Kurt Heisey to pass 3 bills which address squatters in private homes. I'm a Michigan Certified Public Treasurer and maintain my certification. I have a bachelor's degree from EMU in special ed, which I earned in 2 years and 10 months. I worked in the banking industry, and I've managed a small business. I've lived in Canton since 1962. My husband John and I have 2 adult sons, a daughter-in-law, and 4 grandsons.
Ms. Slavin, is your 1-minute opening statement?
Well, thank you to the League of Women Voters for hosting this important event and the viewing audience. My name is Diane Slavins, and I'm running for Canton Township Treasurer. I had the honor of being your state representative for 6 years. Prior to that, I worked at Emory Ford Hospital. I've lived in Canton with my husband Mark since 1988. We've raised our 3 children, all graduates of PCCS, and now our grandson, goes to school here. Canton's a wonderful community. That's why we moved here. Our current leadership wants to keep Canton Canton. I believe our community must move forward together. We must be fiscally responsible. We have a legacy cost that's ballooned out of control. We need smarter planning. How many of you have a hard time getting out of your subdivision in the morning or maneuvering Ford Road? Lastly, transparency and accountability. I promise to always do the people's work during the people's time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. McLaughlin. We'll start this first question with you. Explain your background and how it has prepared you to fill this position.
I have served on the Canton Board of Trustees since 1992. I've served on the Planning Commission since 1991. I've been a volunteer in this community since the early 1980s. I also worked in the banking industry for a number of years. I have a bachelor's degree from EMU that I graduated in 2 years and 10 months, which means that I work pretty hard and I work pretty fast. I also have been a lifelong resident of this community, and I know a lot about the township. What I don't know about Canton government, you probably can't list. I've had quite a lot of experience in a lot of different things. I think I'm very well qualified to run my department, and I think the evidence is there every single day when I show up for work and serve the people.
Thank you. Ms. Slavins?
Well, thank you very much for the question. I've lived here since 1988. Been a respiratory therapist since 1989. And I've been honored to be your state representative for the past 6 years. I worked on the budget every year, passed good policy, and also had open communication with the community. I think that's extremely important. I made sure that I annually met with local leaders, had coffee hours bi-weekly or bi-monthly, and had monthly town hall meetings. Working on the budget in Lansing, I believe I am also prepared for this position. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Slavins, if money were not an object, what changes or improvements would you make in the treasurer's office?
That's a very good question. You know, when I come to the treasurer's office, I always see happy employees. I have had some people when I'm at the doors who come in and have some issues. And so one thing I would do is maybe work on training the staff. Also, I'd like to, many of the people that I talk to at the doors have a hard time paying their water bills. It'd be nice if we could make annual, or not annual, if we could allow them to pay monthly payments, pay their water bills. I think that's very important. So those would be some of the issues. And then lastly, I'd love to be able to, because part of being on as a treasurer, you are on the board, I'd like to be able to have the committee meetings on the website. That way, if people don't have time to watch committee meetings, they can watch it online.
Thank you. Ms. McLaughlin?
Well, I would say that, how about you repeat the question again? I got carried away with what
If
Ms.
money
Slavens
were
was
not
saying.
an object, that's the important part, what changes or improvements would you make in a treasurer's office?
Well, I think if money were not an object, first of all, Ms. Slavens brought up the idea of paying their people's paying their water bill monthly, and actually you can pay your water bill monthly. I will take your payment anytime, any amount of money. You are not compelled to pay, just quarterly. And we work with people all the time to do that, who have large water bills, who need to break it down over a period of months and sometimes many months. I would probably, if money were no object, I would probably work to try to have monthly water bill readings, so there were actual readings every month. But we looked into that, and doing that, even on a bi-monthly basis, was a $100,000 increase in the budget for water billing. I believe my staff is trained impeccably. We go way out of our way to service people and take care of people with graciousness and kindness and efficiency.
Thank you. Ms. McLaughlin, speaking of water, do you have any plans to remove the township from Detroit's crumbling and wasteful water system?
Actually, just last month, the township did vote to divorce ourselves from Detroit for the sewer treatment. Sewage treatment is a combination of working with Wayne County for their transmission lines, as well as for the Detroit sewage treatment plant. We will move all of our flows to Ypsilanti. The cost of providing sending sewage to Detroit has been doing this, and the cost for Ypsilanti has been doing this. We already send about 40% of our flows to Ypsi. We'll be sending 100% of our flows to Ypsi. We do expect this will flatten the costs, and it will also protect us from long-term legacy costs that will be showing up on bills for everybody, basically, east of 275, for fixing combined sewer overflows in crumbling infrastructure. We will save Canton Township ratepayers from that cost.
Thank you. Ms. Slavens?
I was at that meeting, and I think that was excellent that the township did that, because it is important that we try and keep our rates down. You know, one thing I wanted to make a quick comment on is I have talked to people at the doors, and I've had folks, and they can pay their monthly payments, but it's kind of humiliating to every 3 months have to call the treasurer and say, you know what, my budget is really tight. I'd really like to have to pay, I really prefer to pay my bill on a monthly basis. So I think that needs to be an option.
I wouldn't say that mine ever has been humiliating. Never has been humiliating.
Really proud that the township did
one
pass
that.
that. Thank you.
It has never been humiliating. In fact, every time I've received a phone call, people have been so pleased that I have made it so easy for people to talk to me to resolve their problems.
Thank you. Do you have a rebuttal, Ms. Slavens?
That's not what I've heard. That's all I'll say.
Well,
Let's move on to the next question. Ms. Slavens, what is the recommended fund balance for a municipality the size of Canton?
Well, I know their budget is $50 million. I work in Lansing, we had a $50 billion budget, but Canton is
Talking of money.
$50 million is what Canton's budget was the last time I looked.
Ms. McLaughlin?
well, Canton's budget, actually, when you combine police and fire, general fund, and water and sewer, it's about $120 million. We aim for a 15% fund balance in general fund, police and fire, and in our water cash reserve. Currently, we exceed all of those cash reserve fund balance amounts because of very frugal budgeting and very careful with debt and use We came through the recession very well. We suffered a $60 million loss in revenue over the last decade, and we've still managed to keep our fund balances intact.
Thank you. Ms. McLaughlin, what have you done for the township of which you are most proud?
That's a hard question to answer. I have to say that probably the thing that I am most proud of, and people laugh at me when I tell them that the best fun you can have is coming to a planning commission meeting on a Monday night. I have, and they go, really, seriously, that's the best fun? I drive through, walk through subdivisions that I was involved in the development of for the last 25 years, and I see how beautiful they've come to be. Subdivisions that now have beautiful open space and parks and nature preserves and those sorts of things which really enhance the quality of life in our community. Cherry Hill Village is really one of my pet projects, and that still today, we drove through the other day, it's still a delightful little community and people love living there. So I really think that the work I've done as a planner and as a historic preservationist, preserving some of Canton's most important historic jewels, are the two things that I'm probably the most proud of as a trustee.
Thank you. Ms. Slavens. Do you want me to repeat it?
Yeah.
What have you done for the township of which you are most proud?
Well, that's a good question. I can talk a little bit about when I was in the House of Representatives, how I was able to work with the community, communicate with the community to make sure they knew what was going on. Often I get calls from constituents who were having issues I could never help them with, but I would always contact the congressman or the local mayor or township supervisor if they needed. I think helping the folks in the community has been something I've been very proud to do. Working in Lansing, I was able to get rid of the lifetime health care benefits and cut our pay. I think that was important to the community and the state, since I was working, for the state.
Thank you. This will be our last question, I'm afraid. Ms. Slavens, we'll start with you. Canton Township and Western Wayne County have long had a contentious relationship with Wayne County government leaders. How would you work to improve that relationship so that together we can make progress for the residents of Canton?
I think that's an excellent question. I know I've reached out to the Wayne County Treasurer along with the local treasurers in the community, the surrounding communities. We've had a couple of meetings with Warren Evans. It was open to the public. I think it's very important that we as a community can reach out and work not just with the surrounding communities, but also with Wayne County, especially when we're looking at our roads. That's the biggest issue I hear when I go door to door. People are worried not only about their subdivision roads, but the main roads. And so I believe that we need to work closely with Wayne County, form relationships, something that I've already started to do.
Thank you. Ms. McLaughlin.
We have, over the years, actually had quite successful relationship with Wayne County. In fact, before the downturn occurred, we were working in partnership with Wayne County on improving our roads. Wayne County would provide the manpower, Canton Township provided the money for the materials, and several roads were resurfaced or were maintenanced in order to prolong their life. It wasn't until the downturn happened that we had to stop that because money became very scarce. We have actually developed a long and good standing relationship. Wayne County has done a lot of work in Canton just this year. Resurfaced Morton Taylor, widened Cherry Hill, widened Beck Road, doing improvements on the Denton and Gettys Road corridor intersection. And then we worked with Wayne County and the state of Michigan to pave Watts Road, which is going to help with the traffic congestion at Haggerty and Ford, a crucial step in the production of getting Ford Road taken care of.
We'll start our final closing statement, your 1-minute statement with you, Ms. Slavens.
Okay. Well, thank you to the League of Women Voters for hosting this event and to the viewing audience. It was my honor to serve this community in Lansing. During my 6 years, I fought to have the legislature take a pay cut and eliminate lifetime health care. I worked on the state budget, I worked to pass good public policy, and communicated with citizens. Communication with Canton citizens was essential. This is something I'll continue to do as your treasurer. 1, I'll be the fiscal steward for Canton, cutting my wages and eliminating lifetime health care for lawmakers while in Lansing proves my fiscal responsibility. 2, I will ensure smarter planning for our future growth. And 3, I'll make sure we have transparency and accountability. I'll do the people's work during the people's time. We should never have elected officials using township resources for campaigning or any personal gain. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McLaughlin.
In the Treasurer's Office, I have stressed that it is about service, kindness, and human face-to-face contact. We work towards optimal efficiencies every day and go the extra step to serve our residents. That's what local government should always be about, service. That's what, and here I have a note I just received from a World War II veteran complimenting my office on the extra steps that we've taken for him. We have strived to be the best. We have invested in our community with parks, staff, police, fire, beautiful neighborhoods, and a thriving business community. Results matter. Canton didn't happen by accident. It's the result of terrific leadership, vision, and teamwork. I have served on the Board of Trustees for 24 years and 8 as treasurer. As part of this team, I've been a part of all the amazing things that have come to define Canton. I invite you to compare my resume with my opponents and see who has done more for Canton. Look around. See the results of my leadership. Results matter. I hope you will vote for me, Melissa McLaughlin, on November 8th as your Canton treasurer. Thank you.
Thank you to both of our treasurer candidates for participating.